guys, okay. So I went to go see The Moment today, and before we even get into my review, my rating, my anything, I do just want to say, I admire A24's marketing campaigns and what they're doing out there. I love what they did for Marty Supreme. I don't know if that was totally funded by A24 or if that was partially Timothée Chalamet. I know he paid for certain things on his own for a complete unknown. But whatever you're doing, like I loved the jackets at Sundance. I love the vibes with pop. I love everything. Why don't we spend a little less money on marketing and a little more money putting those movies in theaters for everybody to see? Because, girl, 2 theaters near me. And right next to my house is an IMAX Regal. It wasn't even playing there. So I'm just a little bit confused. So I just want you guys to share the wealth, because so many people are talking about getting people into the theaters, and I'm such a fan of A24 and Mubi and Blumhouse and all these other production companies, Neon, yada, 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 yada. Can you have like a little bit more distribution? I guess is just all I want, because I want to see movies, and I know other people do too. And by having such limited theatrical releases, not only in select theaters, but for like 2 weeks at a time, you're giving people no other choice than watching it on streaming. And it takes away so much of the experience. Like, I physically cannot imagine seeing The Moment on a laptop. All that to say, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Paige, and this is Dry Gin Martini. I used to do movies I watched this week last year, but it just got a little bit exhausting. I haven't had a lot of time to sit down and actually film a video in the past 3 months. Not that that's anyone else's business but my own, but I want to start filming like movie reviews where I talk about one movie or like a handful of movies that I purposely watch together, which the next one will probably be like Flavor of the Week, Caleb Landry Jones, because I've been binging all his shit after seeing Dracula. But today we're here to talk about The Moment, because I saw it today. I've been anticipating this since I first heard about it. I was fortunate enough to see the Sweat Tour and see Charli XCX and Troye Sivan in Toronto last year. And as just a huge fan of Charli and her art and her creativity and her style of music and everything, I just was absolutely gobsmacked by this fucking movie. I thought it was fucking incredible on so many levels. I am about to add it to the top 4 of my letterbox. And it transcends just me being a fan of Charli XCX, and we'll get into her and her music and me being a fan of her and all of that. But specifically, the style of mockumentary couldn't have come at a better time, especially the talking points of the film and the commodification of celebrities in the music industry, and that very quick line where you become an overnight success even though you've been working at your craft for 10 years, and suddenly it seems like your face is plastered everywhere and you've sold your soul, but you've had all of these years of hard work and dedication to creating this persona for yourself, and then the second it gets put out into the world, you no longer have access to it. And that kind of dives into not only Charli as an artist, but specifically the Brat album, because of how fucking ginormous it was. And I think it being a mockumentary in the style that it was, with it also breaking the fourth wall, could not have been better. It was cinematography wise, the writing, I wish I knew, like, was this completely written in the script, or were there moments of improvisation and ad-libs and things like this? I want to know everything. I want to know what moments actually happened note for note, and like what was elaborated on, because there's just so many things. So we're going to break it down. We're going to go through the cast and the directors and everything and what I loved about the film, assuming that you've seen it, because I am going to get into spoilers. So if you want the spoiler-free review, here it is. I thought it was a 10 out of 10. All of that is our little introduction litmus test into The Moment review. Okay, so grab a drink, get comfortable, go get a snack, go get your pen, go get whatever you need, and let's get on with the review. So today I went to go see The Moment, directed by Aiden Zamiri, starring and following Charli XCX and the mega success that was her latest record, Brat, and kind of like the journey she goes on after it becomes a huge success, and the commercialization of her celebrity and like artist persona and all of this stuff, and the internal battles she has kind of deciding whether or not she wants to continue on this journey of Brat or let it die because it no longer even belongs to her because everybody has made it their own thing in a way that kind of strips it of what its true meaning was. Did that make any sense? It honestly could have not, but it did to me, and that's all that matters.
Hi, it's Charli XCX. Are you having a Brat summer? I'm sorry, what is it again? Is it?
We agreed to Brat Summer forever.
Don't you just think the whole, like, keep having a Brat summer thing is a bit cringe?
It's all cringe. Good to go again?
So let me tell you a little bit about the environment in which I saw the film because it was terrible, if I'm going to be honest with you. So I go to the Regal in the mall, which I never want to do that. That's like literally the worst Regal probably around town. And I don't want to go to the mall. I don't want to go to that Regal, but I go because it was either that or one that was really far away. And I was like, girl, it's already going to be like a $30 bill. I'm not driving 30 minutes too. So I go to the movie theater. I buy my seat. There's only one other person there in the back row. And it's like recliners. So I'm in the row in front of them, but there's a whole wall and then another row. If it was like recliner, I would have gone 2 down because I give people space, right? Whatever. I have my Dr. Pepper that I brought from home and I get some popcorn and I'm sitting there. And the movie, I watch all the trailers and the movie starts and immediately Flash was incredible and I was like, whoa. And I kind of locked in and felt like I was at a concert and I had that like Frisian moment where I was about to start crying, which happens to me literally any live concert I've ever been to in my life. It also happened at the Sweat Tour. So I was like levitating in my chair and then the Flash warning had Flash and I was like, T. And then the movie started and we were just kind of thrown right into it. And I loved it. I want to start by saying like, the Flash and just like the colorway seems so simple. It's like, oh, red and blue, black and white, green and blue. But it's like, it's so distinctive. And I really do think that this is a movie that will be talked about in years from now as like a staple of what this time was like. Because if you think about it, watching this movie after the Super Bowl did something to me as well because I was just thinking about all of these commercials promoting gambling and AI. And just like nothing was inspired. Everything was so boring. And everything is just like selling you something every 5 seconds. That's why none of the ads were interesting because every TikTok is an ad. Every YouTube video is an ad. Everything is an ad all the time promoting, pushing something to you. So it's like when you were younger growing up watching a Doritos commercial, it was like, whoa, that's cool. Now it's like everything's a fucking Doritos commercial. No shade to Doritos. That was just the first thing that came to my mind. So then to go into the moment that specifically talks about a rising pop sensation navigates the complexities of fame and the industry pressures while preparing for her arena tour debut. I couldn't help but think about at one point in your career when you're growing up and you're like, oh, I want to be a pop star. I want to make music. I want to be a musician. Are you like, ooh, I want to do ads and commercials and sell my likeness and give up a piece of myself to fit an image created by the public and a record label? Because it really is that deep sometimes when you're thinking about it, especially in today's day and age when music is promoted via an app where people get paid to dance to it for 15 or over a minute. I was going to say 15 seconds, but I know it has to be over a minute. Charli specifically makes dance, club, really, really good electronic, like pop. It's still pop because it's popular, like pop music. I've been listening to her since like, what? The Fault in Our Stars, maybe even before then, when she did Boom Clap. It was for a movie about kids with cancer. Is that why you're wearing a wig? It's not a wig. The movie was incredibly funny. Anyway, I go see the movie, and like 10 minutes into it, this group of women and girls like come in loud as fuck. Could not have possibly been louder. I'm not even kidding. Talking at maximum volume, come and sit directly next to me. And my purse was in the chair next to me. And they go, we're sitting here? And I go, here? Like right here? And then all 7 of them sat down and proceeded to talk for probably 60% of the movie because they left in like the beginning of the 3rd act. They just got up and left. And I couldn't have been happier, but I was just like, is this actually happening right now? And they were all on their phones, texting on TikTok, taking videos of the movie screen and everything. And I was like, you know what? This really speaks volumes to the movie itself as well because there's so much commentary on Brat and like Brat Summer, Brat Forever, like making Brat mean this thing for everybody when the album, if you really listen, it's very deep, even though, like, I had someone tell me one time that, like, Charli XCX's music wasn't good, and I was like, well, obviously you didn't listen to it, because she talks about envy with other women. She talks about commercial success in the industry. She talks about wanting to have children and not knowing if she should, and she talks about her relationship, and I just find her music to be so beautiful, with, of course, it being incredible to dance to and have a good time. And she's kind of selling a bit of herself to the record label and to the public so that we can keep this brat summer going forever, which is a huge theme in the movie, is her inability to let go of it because it was so successful. And she says she doesn't want to be the last one at the party, but she finds herself there at the end of the film when she's given up her own creative ideas and, like, the integrity of Brat to fulfill this project for the record label and to make other people happy. So I just found it really interesting that the people that were watching it weren't even fucking paying attention. And I was like, did you just buy a ticket because it was like a Charli XCX movie, or not even fucking watching or listening to anything going on here? And you're just taking videos. Like, it's like, oh my God, you're not even listening. And then they did take forever to get up and leave. And I was just like, that was so ridiculous and obnoxious for no fucking reason. The movie was fucking brilliant. Okay, so let's get into a little bit of the cast here. Like I talked about just there briefly, that is the plot of the movie. We start with Charli XCX like 3 weeks before tour, as she's in the height of Brat PR. She's doing like the Vogue, What's in My Bag. She's doing all these interviews, promoting this idea of Brat Summer Forever. At this point, the album has already come out, so this is driving promotion to the tour because she's about to do her arena tour. This is post Sweat and post Crash and all of that. So we pick up in that little gray area between Brat's been released, it's time for tour, rehearsals are about to start. And in the beginning of that, you can tell that she's like irritated by how much she has to be doing at all times. It's like she has to be doing an ad campaign, then she's also doing the Vogue commercial, and then she has to start thinking about rehearsals, but there's also an Ibiza trip coming up, and she's like, that's just too much because I have rehearsals and then I have tour, and it's like all of this is happening, but then there's gonna be nothing. And she's very overwhelmed. It's very stressful. This mockumentary style couldn't have been better. I saw somebody say in a review that they had whiplash, and so I was really expecting there to be a lot of movement, and while there was, it wasn't to the caliber that I thought it was going to be based on that one-off review. So we're following her in that like lead up to rehearsals, and one of the main focuses of the film is Alex Skarsgård's character Johannes. He is hired by the record label to direct a concert film, which is really ironic because, I mean, making my own opinions and assumptions about Charli XCX as a fan of her and her music, like, I just would never envision Charli XCX doing a concert film. Would I envision her doing The Moment, the mockumentary, brilliant, like, satirical film that she came out with? Absolutely. Do I picture Charli XCX doing an Amazon Music concert film? No. And that's why it was so funny and like topical, because yeah, at what point are you like, okay, yeah, let's do a concert film? And it's like, why? Like, I'm sorry, like the only one that I think was good was like the Justin Bieber one from decades ago, directed by John M. Chu. Never say never, never, never. Celeste is her creative director, her creative counterpart, who is creative directing and stage managing the stage production arena tour. With that, she is also supposed to be creative directing the concert film. However, Johannes and her have like competing personalities, because Johannes is this very like spiritual director, woo-woo, kind of ridiculous auteur, I want to say, and Celeste actually understands and respects Charli's vision, where Johannes, along with the record label and Jamie's character and Tammy, played by Rosanna Arquette, my queen from Crash, Jamie is played by Reese Shaw from Overcompensating. Okay, so then we of course have our tie to Terry and Benito Skinner. So Ride is everywhere. There's easier ways to say that you listen to Ride, but anyway, competing like identities with who Charli XCX is as an artist and a performer, and the record label and her management team and everybody demanding these things from her to promote the tour and have it be as successful as it is. But with that comes like crossing the line between like keeping your creative integrity and selling a bit of yourself to make some extra cashola on the upcoming tour. And that brings in like the Howard Sterling credit card of it all, which is another campaign to promote the tour, which is to promote young queer adults, Charli's demographic, to buy credit cards and then essentially in some way, fashion, get free tickets to her concert. I don't know. It's just like, even watching Industry on HBO Max, I think about how much like the media, money, and politics are all just intertwined with each other. It's like a hydra with 3 heads, and it's like you can't cut one of them off, 7 more will grow. It's fucking insane. Because why is a bank involved with a record label, involved with talent for like, it's just kind of like, I am biased when I say this because I did in fact get tickets to Harry Styles' MSG tour residency in September. More specifically, my sister bought them. But like the idea that Ticketmaster is this monopoly of concert tickets and they make millions and billions of dollars and these artists make so much money and all we want is to see our favorite performers and we can barely afford the tickets because they're $1,000 fucking dollars. All of that ties into this film very beautifully, especially when you think of how many fucking ads are within the movie. There's A24, there's Beats, there's Amazon Music, there's Poppy. There's a million and one that I can't even fucking think about them, and they were flashing at such a rapid pace that it was incredible if you could remember any of that stuff. But it was brilliantly done. Brilliantly done.
Financing a concert film.
Like this? Is it hot?
So we got the director.
Been holed up in here with quite a few artists. Some of these elements will probably turn people off. We don't want to offend anyone.
Sorry, I'm really confused right now. She's singing about cocaine.
Literally or metaphorically?
What's metaphorical cocaine?
Are you keeping up? Like, I'm really kind of just going with it. I've been thinking about this all day, and I thought the best way I could film this video is if I just, like, speed tour. So we're going to speed tour it. Celeste, who I also want to talk about, like I said, she was the only person that really respected Charli's vision because they were collaborative partners. And in the beginning of the film, we see this beautiful scene shot through a window where they're talking about the tour and their ideas. And you can see that there's this genuine connection, understanding, and respect for one another. And then as the film goes on, we see that crumble because Charli is so afraid of leaving the party that she gives up that creative integrity between her and Celeste to Johannes to create this absolutely ridiculous, gaudy joke of a concert film that comes out in the end of the film. It strips away all of the aspects of like 365 Party Girl, the black and white, the flashing lights, the like stage presence and embodiment that Charli is alone on that stage. I saw her perform. She doesn't need anything. She could perform on a concrete slab and it's like she captivates the entire audience and the room is mesmerized because that's what she does. That is how she performs. And long story short, cutting through the middle and going to the end of the film when she just decides like, yeah, we're going to do whatever Johannes wants because that's the easiest way for like me to continue to ride this pony that is the Brat Tour. In the end, she doesn't even look like herself. She's wearing ridiculous eyeshadow with sequins and red lipstick, and she has green extensions in her hair, and she's wearing this Tinkerbell dress and sparkly go-go boots, the iconic sparkly pop star go-go boots, which, like, Charli XCX is a pop star, but she's a pop star in a completely different category. Like, they're not even in the same realm, okay? She's her own person. And am I blowing smoke up someone's ass that I don't know? Like, yes, I'm a fan. That's kind of the whole point. Well, what was I saying? Oh, by the end of the film, it's not even Charli XCX. It's just like this, like ridiculously pinned up version of Brat. And it's like she's admitted that in order to move past this and leave the party, she has to die at the party. And so she allows this tour to happen. That's absolutely ridiculous. And she, even in her own words, after Celeste gets completely burned by Charli and the record label, gets fired, gets her job taken by Johannes, at the end, we see this beautiful scene where she's in the car smoking a cigarette, and it's this one-on-one with the mockumentary cameraman. She plays this audio message that Charli sends her where she essentially apologizes for all of that and says that, like, I needed to kill this and leave this behind in order for me to leave. And I understand if you can't forgive me because I probably wouldn't either. And I'm really sorry I did this to you. And it's really sad if you think about it. And also as a person like myself who's so infatuated with this idea of celebrity, I don't know why I'm plagued with it, but I am. Pop culture is like eating away at my brain like a parasite. And I've always had these dreams of working in Hollywood and working in the entertainment industry. As I get older and as I like lose this veil of naivete that is like, oh, it's so perfect and glamorous, and like seeing how these people have to sell themselves and sell their likeness to reach that pinnacle or paramount of success is mind-boggling.
Like, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Well, I don't fucking know what I fucking want, Tim.
Can we open a window?
I figured it was fitting if I put on my sunglasses to be like Charli, and I have the rest of my notes here. So let's just kind of jump right into it. So I don't remember what I said or where we left off, but I am going to just kind of pick up with talking about, we get to the end and there's this trailer for an Amazon Music concert film that she kind of gave to Johannes to be this final thing, and it's completely different than Charli XCX and her music and her artistry in general. The costume, the backup dancers, the just like, I don't know, really commercialized pop star image was really funny to me, and especially with the backdrop of Bittersweet Symphony. So Bittersweet Symphony, I think, is perfect in two films, in the finale of two films and two films only. Cruel Intentions and The Moment. I really love that song. I thought it was so tasteful. I thought it was hilarious. And it really just was like a good, like, oh yeah, like this really did have British humor, and I thought it was absolutely hilarious. I know Charli XCX is funny, as if I know her on a personal level once again. We could talk about parasocial relationships and things like that, but I just really don't want to get into that today. Maybe another time. Okay. Kylie Jenner, huge fan. Which is kind of like funny to say when we're talking about being sold things 24/7 and like just growing up. I think I knew the Kardashians since I was like a child, or like was aware of them in their ether with them on television and things of such relation. And so to see Kylie Jenner in this film in this way was really funny. I know that it was like self-aware and it was satirical, but she just was really funny. So Charli 2 weeks before rehearsals are over, decides to go on that free trip to Ibiza. She's like, actually, I need to relax, because the truth is she can't face telling Celeste that she's working with Tim and the rest of her team to give the project to Johannes. So she's like, I'm going to run away from it and let everybody else deal with it. And she's telling Tim one thing, she's telling Celeste another thing. And in the end, that's what ends up screwing over Celeste, is that nobody was honest with her about the fact that they were just kind of giving up. Check how many times Paige says creative integrity in this film, but I can't think of a synonym, and my computer was overheating, so I couldn't look anything up. So just deal. She goes to Ibiza, and she's trying to relax on this trip, but it is like the antithesis of relaxation. It's just in this like White Lotus-esque brick cement building, and she goes to get this facial, and it's like, oh, people wait years to get on this list with Maria to get a facial, and she goes in the room and she's thinking it's going to be this nice calming facial, and it turns into like an interrogation about her skin and aging and preserving her looks and glowing and all of this stuff, and it's just like the exact opposite of everything she's looking for and seeking on this vacation to Ibiza, which I will be in May. So while she's there, she calls Tim, because Kylie Jenner stops her and is basically like, oh, I hear you're working with Johannes. We wanted him for something on Hulu, but he's working with you. And that's the moment where Charli realizes, like, oh my God, if the Jenner Kardashians want to work with Johannes, like, this is the right move and I need to do this. And she kind of forgoes all of her morals and just like calls Tim and decides that's what's going on. And she has this freak out moment in her hotel room. And she comes into the room and she's like, of fucking course Kylie Jenner would be here. She throws all of her amenities from the ridiculous facial, all the skincare on the bed, and she uses the Brat credit card from that ridiculous bank. She calls Tim and she has this freak out moment being like, we have to give it to Johannes, blah, 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 blah. We have to, blah, blah, blah. She freaks out. She cuts her hand open on this wine glass. And I just thought that was incredible. I thought it was a really great, like, I don't know what you would call it, but it was like a pin drop moment where like all of this like chaos stopped, and for a moment we realized how ridiculous this is. But this is the reality of so many people in the entertainment industry, specifically the music industry. And seeing that moment where she's standing there in a bathing suit, wiping the blood off of herself, and then rapidly going to post this thing about getting free tickets to a concert, I just thought that was insane. And I really enjoyed the pacing and structure of the film in general. But after she comes back from Ibiza, and it just is this downward spiral into like forgoing Brat and giving it away so she can kind of just like let it die, as we said before, was insanity. And I really, really loved the direction and the cinematography. I just thought it was beautiful. And I love the mockumentary, how we felt like we were there because they acknowledged the camera so many times. But it also still felt like I was just like a voyeur experiencing this and I wasn't supposed to be there. Also, the Rachel Sennett scene I thought was hilarious because after watching I Love LA, and just like, I think with the access we have now to influencers beyond them posting like Vines and YouTube videos, like now they do podcasts and they interview celebrities and we know who their friend groups are and who they work with on a PR level and like intertwined brand partnerships and overlapping podcasts and all of this stuff. It's like, who is actually genuine and who's a freak? Who's a freak, who's actually friends, who just has a PR friendship. It's like, none of this is new. It's just repackaged in like a social platform rather than like being highly stylized and produced by Entertainment Tonight and the tabloids and things of the 80s, the 90s, and the early 2000s. Like, we have it in our hands and artists are more in control of what goes out there, but also not really in terms of cancel culture and like public image and stuff like that. So I just found that all really interesting. I'm just going to say this briefly. I'm just going to say this one time. Absolutely, when they did the Amazon Music ad at the end, I thought of Taylor Swift. I'm sorry. Like, when I saw the sparkly boots and the Amazon Music ad and the backup dancers and like the mic in the air, I thought of Taylor Swift. And I don't know how you couldn't think of Taylor Swift, someone who started as this like girl next door country music artist, became like global superstar sensation, one of the largest names in music ever, and is a billionaire, and how to get there you have to definitely sell a bit of yourself. I mean, how could you not? I mean, even on the traders, they're like scared of Swifties. It's like, it's an insane idea and like a magnitude that is unfathomable, even beyond like that of, her and Beyonce, I would like her, Beyonce, Rihanna. I mean, just the magnitude of their success is absolutely unfathomable. It's just insane to think about. Okay. The opening scene, I absolutely loved. I loved the intensity of it. Again, the direction from Aiden Zamari was absolutely fucking incredible. But when we get to that end of the film and they're kind of doing damage control because when Charli posted that credit card thing, it turned out to be wrong and it scammed a bunch of people and a bunch of people lost money and they were calling her like a communist and the bank collapsed and yada, 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 all that to say. Nobody had heard from Charli in 6 days, and I genuinely, at that point, when they rushed to her house to see if she was dead, I thought she was fucking dead. I'm not kidding. I was like, oh my God, how many times can my jaw hit the fucking floor aside from the rude people sitting next to me that continued to talk and like astonish me the entire duration of the viewing experience? But like, what the actual fuck? I thought she was dead. And it turns out she was having that dream that we saw in the beginning, which was that like incredible sweaty, very liminal space dance sequence, and I just really loved that tether back to the beginning and like the thought of her having to die and kill Brat in order to move on with herself as an artist and in her career. Next, I want to talk a little bit about Isaac Powell. Flavor of the what? Flavor of the high, flavor of the now, flavor of the week. Like, I mean, he was really hot. I thought he was incredibly funny. I loved that beginning scene when they're waiting in the airport and the two of them are having this like little bickering match about like the correct dialogue that they're going to use for this ad for some breakfast radio show or whatever. And it's like they're nitpicking back and forth, and it's like the priorities of different people based on their different jobs is so fascinating to me. I'm just going to get into the little brief summary that I wrote here about Charli and her performance, and specifically just like overall word vomit, okay? With my Wildflower phone case that was featured in the film, and yes, I really wanted the Brat Wildflower phone case, but I have such an attachment to this, and previously I had the mushroom one on my old phone, and then they didn't make that, and I think I have the iPhone 15 or something. I had that one for years because I saw a Pinterest photo of Jacob Elordi having it, and of course I had to have the same one. And then when I got my new phone, this was the only one that felt like me. So Wildflower, one day when we have a collab, I can't wait to work with you guys. I figured for the last bit of my review, since I've been Ramble City for the last hour, I would just get up close and personal and give you my last thoughts. And if you can hear the obnoxious sounds in the background, that's my sister, who I asked to turn that down, and she just didn't even hear me. So Anyway, these are my Dry Gin Martini final thoughts, okay? Specifically on Charli's performance. Overall, I loved the direction. I loved the cinematography. I loved the production design. I just loved the style and the wit and the commentary. I loved Alex Skarsgård's performance. I loved Celeste's character. I just loved it. I really did. There's so many different aspects of it that I enjoyed, and I would love to honestly go see it again. And I think if you have the opportunity to see it in a theater near you, you need to. So I wrote the moment in the car specifically when she has that green makeup on her eyes and the sparkles and the red lipstick, and she's wiping it off with the driest makeup wipe I've ever seen in my life, and it looked like it was like pulling off her skin. She's stripping away this last bit of the like idolized, commodified version of Charli XCX, and it was just really heartbreaking. And yes, I did cry. I cried. Like, it really moved me, and it was really sad to me, especially considering like the friendship breakup between herself and Celeste. It was sad to me. So the moment in the car brought me to tears. Charli XCX is dynamic and quick. She's vulnerable and self-aware, and is really just the perfect film encapsulating so many variables done well, and I'm appreciative of it. It was a moment, it is a moment, and will forever be a stake in the ground as a moment and a commentary on the current state and downfall of the music industry as it rides alongside the rise of capitalism and corporate greed, proving that good art is still possible and out there, it just comes at a cost. Or, as conspiracy theorists prefer to say, a sacrifice. A way to leave your mark not only on the music industry but cinema history as well. And if you think that's too much of an inflammatory statement, I think you're new to Dry Gin Martini. Thank you so much for all of that. Those are my thoughts and opinions, and I'd love to know yours. If you saw the movie, if you haven't, if you want to, if you don't want to. I don't know what you're watching. If you have any recommendations for me, I have a couple for you. The Moment, directed by Aiden Zamari and starring Charli XCX. So I hope I'm pronouncing that right. What if it's Zamiri? That's poor journalism on my part. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Till next time, stay flirty, stay thirsty, watch more movies together, make more movies together. In honor of seeing the moment, like, follow your dreams, make your moment now. No act is too small, no dream is too big. If you haven't already, you should check out my blog, my Substack. You should check out January's DGM Digest. The Moment will absolutely be in February's, which I have to start writing now that I'm thinking of it. But yeah. Like, subscribe if you feel like it, or don't. We'll still be here no matter what. And I'll see you soon. Cin Cin, I wish I had a Vibes Poppy. If you guys want to do a sponsorship and sell a little bit more. If you get what I'm saying. All right. Anyway, peace and love. And everything above. Cin Cin.